Let's get this party started. I am Dara. Welcome. I'm a physical therapist and a strength and conditioning coach and a yogi. All the things. Today we're doing core, 30 minutes. Let's get it done. This is for athletes, endurance athletes, runners, cyclists, all levels. Join, modify as needed. Again, PT first, so listen to your body, avoid any injuries. Set your intentions for class today. 30 minutes, we're going to start off in standing, a little bit of a yoga, easy, chill yoga warm-up just to get our bodies moving. Then we're going to take it down onto the mat. We've got 3 moves, a little bit of core strength, abs, glutes. I have a kettlebell here. That's optional if you want. I'm going to be adding classes that have some mini bands and more weights added to them. So these are optional, but if you have a mini band or some weights, you can bring them to class. Let's get started. Reach to the sky. And just start to get some nice long breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale it out through the mouth. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to go through the sun salutation A, nice and mellow, just to get our body warmed up. Knees are nice and soft. Let your arms just relax. Keep the head relaxed. Shake it out. Release any tension from the day, from the week. Let it go. This is your time. Focus on you. Last breath here. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, 30 minutes. We've got a warm up, we've got our core, we've got some glutes stretching, and then we're done. Hip hinge. This is your deadlift, hip hinge. Hands come down, step back into plank. We do have some planks in class today. Again, modify as needed. My cues for planks is spread your fingers nice and wide, push away from the mat, actively engage your shoulders, tuck your chin in, brace your abs, hold for 1 breath. Knees down, slowly lower, chaturanga, elbows close to your sides for chaturanga. Uncurl your toes. Push yourself up, little baby cobra. This should feel nice on the lower back, not pinchy. Engage your lats, pull the shoulders down the back. That should really give you some of that stability. Hold it here, 1 breath. Support that low back. Exhale back down. Uncurl your toes, downward facing dog. One of my favorites is down dog for calf ankle mobility. This is great for my runners and my cyclists. Drive your hips up high to the sky. It's also just a great hip stretch. A little bit of shoulder strength too. Gosh, what does this pose not do, right? It's a good pose. I like it. I like it a lot for after running or if I'm just feeling tight. Pedal those feet out. Let's go through that sun salutation warm up again 2 more times. Walk your hands back to your feet. Roll up slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time. Articulate through your spine. Healthy spine. A healthy spine is a supple spine, you guys. Inhale, reach to the sky. Lengthen. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Knees are soft. Protect the lower back. Hang out here, 1 breath. Inhale, halfway lift, hip hinge. Straighten those knees if you want more of a hamstring stretch. My hamstrings are tight. Hands come down, step back into plank. Hold it here. We've got 1 more round after this. Strong planks pushing away. Hands are stacked underneath my shoulders. 1 breath. Exhale, either knees down or all the way down. Chaturanga. Work your shoulders. I love planks because it's a chance to work our shoulders and upper body. As endurance athletes, a lot of us don't really get a lot of that. Engage your shoulders down the back. When I say lats, I mean pull those shoulder blades down, retract them. It's going to help to stabilize you in this up dog. This should feel nice on the spine, right? Not pinchy. This should feel really good. Open up your chest. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. 1 breath here. Exhale back down. Push yourself back downward facing dog. We've got 1 more round and then we're moving on. I am not a flexible yogi. When I took my 200-hour, I was probably the only person there who couldn't touch their toes. So yoga is for everyone, you guys, especially if you're like me, you're not mobile. Use this as an opportunity to become more mobile, right? We need both strength and supple. Walk your hands or your feet up to your hands. Either way, we'll get there. Rolling up 1 vertebrae at a time. I got distracted by my own talking. Inhale, reach to the sky, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Yoga is for everyone, right? Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Inhale, halfway lift. I do love this yoga warm up for my athletes. Get some nice movement with the strength. Plank. We do have more planks coming up. Just a warning. Exhale, lower. Last time. Then we're moving on to chair pose. Up dog or cobra. Your chair pose is your air squat, right? So a nice opportunity to work those hips. Last breath here. Exhale back down. Push yourself back, downward facing dog. Let's just rock through our plank a little bit before we get into chair pose. So if you want to get fancy, you can. If you want to just go from your downward dog into your plank, give yourself a little wider stance here so you're finishing here, not way far in front. So this is your finish. Back into downward dog. Just go back and forth with this a couple times. Just warming up the shoulders, warming up the hips. If you want to add on, you can add a little bit of an oblique twist. We do have more oblique work coming up in our sequence of abs. Reaching through. If you just want to come back and forth, plank to down dog, that's okay too. Exhale, twist. Do a few more here if you're adding that single arm, reaching back. Reaching back. Let's do a few more. Almost done. 2 more. Got a lot to cover in a short amount of time today. Walk your hands back to your feet. Come into standing. Let's do chair pose. If you have weights, you can add them here. Not needed, but optional. If you have one kettlebell or weight, you can have that weight in your center chest goblet. Squat, squeeze the elbows here. Pinch them back. Hold this weight close to your chest. Sit back into chair, right? So that's one option. I'm not here. Flat back. So this is one option. If you have 2 weights, you want to hold them at your sides, right? Like this. If you have no weights, arms go overhead for chair pose. Like my chair, take a nice wide stance, whichever one you're doing, whether you have weights or not, take a nice wide stance. Draw the knees out. That's going to help you engage your glutes, drive the arches of the feet up, and sinking into your chair. Now, if you're in your chair with no weights and arms are overhead, I want you to maintain this nice flat back position. So if you're kind of looking like this guy, bring your arms down, right? If you have the weights here, here. So let's find our stance. I'm going to give you the side view so you can just kind of see. But I want you to imagine that you're opening those knees out to engage that glute. Inhale, reach to the sky or weights to your heart center. Exhale, sink low into chair. And hold it here. We're going to make this a little bit dynamic. So if you're here with your arms, you're going to come up to the sky and bring the hands down. So that's your active chair pose. Now, if you have the weights, guess what? Just hold the weights. You've got options. So I lied. This is chair pose, but it's really squats. I just was trying to lie to get you to do some squats without telling you. So let's do a few more here. Again, active. If you do not have the weights, I want you to really use this as your mobility. Get low into your squat. Work your hips. Get a little bit of that heart rate elevated, a little bit of cardio. So we'll do a few more of these. Nothing crazy, just using this as our warm-up. Get those hips warmed up. And then we're gonna come into our series of 3 core strength moves. Again, weights at my heart center, just like this, or weights at my sides, up to you. Let's do 4 more just like this. Sinking nice and deep, right? 3 more. 2 more, and then we'll get into a little bit of mobility, finishing our warm-up before we come onto the mat for core. Okay, so let's come down onto the mat. That was it. That was our little chair pose sequence. Snuck in some squats. I like to sneak that stuff in when I can. So we do have some planks coming up next, but let's do a little bit of thread the needle just to open up the shoulders and the back. Reach to the sky, hands and knees position. Let those weights go. We're done with those for now. And just focus on inhale, exhale it through. So like I said, we do have planks in this ab sequence. I usually do a series of 3. strengtheners for core. Today we have some obliques, we have some abs, and I might sneak in a little bit of glutes. TBD. TBD. I feel like I'm due for more glute work today. Next week we might do a little bit more of our holds. But we are starting off with planks. Last few here, and then we'll switch sides. This should feel like a nice opener for the chest, shoulders, back. Other side, thread the needle, reach it through. We want strength. We also want to be supple in our spine. Keep it healthy. If you check out my playlist, that core class playlist, there's other classes. So there's some other series that I do, some different moves. I'm going to be adding more classes. We will start to use some of the mini bands for resistance, for more of our glute work. So stay tuned for that. Not a lot of weights today, but I will have class next week. We will be using more of the weights. 2 more here. 1 more. All right, planks. Let's get into it, guys. Forearm plank, 30-second hold, 30-second. You're going to dip the hips. So your forearm plank looks like this. Drive the elbows down. I am intentionally making this C curve with my spine. This is kind of like the reverse of my hollow body hold. Drive that tension down from your elbows to your feet to create some nice ab tension. 30-second hold. If you need to take a break, go for it. And then 30 seconds, we're going to dip the hips. So we've got a full minute plank starting in 3, 2, 1. Come into your forearm plank. My fingers are spread wide. I'm tucking my tailbone under. So 30 seconds here and then 30 seconds hip dips, okay? Let's just start with that basic plank. Create tension, driving tension down to my toes. We're almost done with our 30-second hold. Keep holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then dip the hips. "30 seconds, just like this, then we're on our back for obliques. 10 seconds. Little tiny dips, side to side. A little bit of oblique engagement here as you dip, dip, dip. 3, 2, 1. That's a full minute. Again, take breaks if you need to modify as needed. If you have your weights and you want to add them into this next oblique move, you can. So this is going to be my move here. If you have weights and you want to reach across, again, I'm using a light weight here. If you want to add a little bit of upper body, if you don't, your options are here. Reach, reach, or here. Reach, reach, just reaching across. We're going to change this oblique exercise each round. So first round, keeping it nice and simple. If you have a light weight, you can add that reach. I'm exhaling as I reach across, or here. Weights are optional. So we've got obliques, and we do have a little bit of glutes. I'm going to throw a little bit of glutes into the mix for this core series to just change it up a little bit. We only touched on the glutes earlier with our chair pose. Let's do a few more here. Again, you pick whichever level you want, reaching across. For 10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 feet down, glute bridge. If you want to add those weights, again, you can. Hands can be either here overhead for your glute bridge, or if you're holding the weights right on those hip bones. Squeeze and lift, right? So if you have 2 kettlebells, you can go on either sides of the hips, or 2 dumbbells, they can go right here. If you don't, that's okay. If you have your mini bands, you can also use the mini bands around the thighs for your glute bridge. If not, that's okay too. This is still a great glute strengthener. So we're gonna start with our basic glute bridge this first round. Again, each round I kind of like to change things just a little bit, keep you guys on your toes. But for now, glute, squeeze. Every time you lift, squeeze, squeeze. Engage, drive through the heels, knees at 90. This needs to come from a hip hinge, straight up, glute activated. Right, so first round we have our basic glute bridge. Second round, I'm going to give us a little bit of a variety. We'll do a little bit of a frog bridge. Third round, we're going to do a marching bridge. So just some changes to that basic glute focused bridge. You should be feeling mostly glutes and hammies here, right? If your lower back is doing all the work, I want you to squeeze, engage that glute every time you lift. 10 more here, then we come back into planks. Squeeze, active. Couple more. And then we're going to turn it back over to those planks. I totally lost track. We probably have 2 more. 1 more. Turn it over, forearm plank. Same thing, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. You decide, right? If you need to take a break, that's okay as well. Let's start in 3, 2, 1. Forearm plank, come back into it. Engage, drive those elbows down to your toes. Spread the fingers wide. There's a lot going on in this plank to make it very active. I'm really tucking my tailbone under, bringing my elbows down to my toes to create that nice ab tension. Hold it here 30 seconds. We're almost done. Then we have those hip dips. Get ready. And then drop the hips ever so slightly side to side. Again, you can modify this as needed. If you need to take a break, do so. If you want to add something else, a little bit more spicy to your planks, keep those fingers spread nice and wide to give you some good grip, right? 10 more seconds, then we're done. Then we've got those obliques. Keep going. Keep going for 3, 2, 1. On your back, obliques. Options for obliques. If you have the weights, hold them overhead. Lower the legs. Scissors, back down, back up. A little bit of lower abdominal work too. If you don't have the weights, guess what? Arms overhead. Is this easy? No, it's not. Keep that lower back pressed down. So whichever version you're doing, you could also be here. Give your neck a little bit of support. Flutter, 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 flutter. So a little bit of obliques, a little bit of lower abdominals here. I want you to really maintain that lower back pressed down onto the mat. So the number one thing here that I have to cue people is keep that lower back pressed down. That's going to really keep that bracing, that engagement here, and keep your lower back supported and safe. Again, adding the weights, I'm just holding it, giving myself a little bit more work in the upper body. Here, back down. We have our glute bridges next. We're going to add and change that into a froggy bridge. Let's do a few more here. Again, you pick whichever version feels appropriate. 2 more just like this. 1 more. And rest. Ooh, should feel that one, right? Okay, so with our bridge, let's come back into that basic glute bridge. If you have the weights, you can place them on the hips. We're going to come here, and then halfway through, we're going to bring the feet together. Knees come out for that frog bridge. So just slightly different emphasis on the glutes. Again, arms can be here, here, or holding the weights on the hips, right? So let's just start with that basic glute bridge. Just kind of get our glutes nice and warmed up. And then we're going to kind of bring the feet together and the knees go out. And so that'll be our frog bridge. So let's do a few more here. 2 more. 1, bring the feet together, knees go out, froggy bridge. Burn that glute. Burn it out. We've got 1 more round of these, you guys. Last set of our planks and our obliques and our glutes, and then we're cooling it down. And that's it for today. Subscribe to the channel to get notifications of class. I'm adding way more live classes in. We're going to do more with the weights, more with the mini bands. Stay tuned. 2 more here. 1 more. Turn it over. Last time. Forearm plank. Get ready. 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Let's do it. In 3, 2, brace, tuck, 1, go. Last one, make it your best. Create tension. So I like this RKC style plank because it allows you to create more tension in your abs, a lot more engagement versus that traditional plank. Slight tuck of the tailbone under, really drive tension like you're trying to bring your elbows down to your toes actively. Almost done with this, then we got those little plank hip dips. Letting the hips drop side to side. Nice and easy. And then we've got our last obliques, our last glutes. We are almost done with class. 30 minutes, give or take. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On your back. Last obliques, up to you if you want the weights or not. Otherwise, reach to that outside of that leg, right? Here, up to you. I would suggest going light with this weight. If you need to support your neck, then don't use the weights, right? Could be just like this. Our last round, reach across, and we've got our glutes. Core strength, I like to add these classes in for myself, for my clients, for my athletes. I want at least once or twice a week. So again, I'm trying to get in as much as I can of this upper body and maybe some weights to make this real work, right? Should be challenging, should be sport specific, should be different, should be dynamic, as well as holding static poses. 3, 2, 1, glute bridge, finish up strong, whichever version you're doing. We're going to do our basic glute bridge, and then we have that marching bridge to finish. So the marching bridge is a little bit more core based. We keep the hips up nice and high. We brace with our abs. Or if you just want to finish with some basic glute bridges, that's okay too, right? This is your class. This is for you, for your body. You need to modify as needed for your level or whatever's going on with you. 4 more here. 3, if you're adding the marching bridge, 2, 1, keep the hips up high, and then just add a march. This one is much more about core, right? So you're still activating those glutes. You could still have the weights here as well, but I'm bracing with my abs, and my goal with this, my little finisher, is to keep my hips nice and level and just to create that nice stability in the hips. So my hips are staying level. They're not dipping. They're not rocking. I'm really maintaining this nice stability, right? So I like to give this to my runners, my cyclists, that hip stability where they're running or sitting on the saddle, creating nice level pelvis. Last few here, and then guess what? We're going to cool down and be done. We got a lot to cover in 30 minutes, right? 3, 2, and 1. Hips down. Hug the knees into the chest. Let's cool it down. Let's stretch. We're done. Almost. Again, any stretches that feel good, now is your chance, right? This is your class. I am just your guide. I always tell my patients, you need to modify some of these stretches based on how it feels on your body. We are all built different. Hug that right knee into your chest. Roll the ankles and the toes around. Maybe roll that hip around. Lubricate that hip joint. Keep those hips happy. Again, I'm just going to take you through a couple of these hip stretches, but you can modify based on, oh, it feels better when I do this or when I bring my knee further across. So just modify based on your body. Hold it here. And then when you're ready, bring that right knee across your body. So you're just going to drive that knee across. You can keep the hips kind of here on the mat, or you can rotate off the mat even more to get into that lower back. Open that right arm out. Head goes wherever it feels comfortable. Come back to center. Let's do our figure 4 stretch here. Again, you can leave it like this, or you can reach all the way through for a little bit deeper hip opener. And any other stretches that feel good, that feel like you need now is your chance. Roll the shoulders. Take all the tension out of the shoulders. Maybe let the head go side to side. Take any tension out of the neck and let it go. Slow down the breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Roll those shoulders out. Every class has slightly different emphasis. Today we did a little bit more glutes. Sometimes it's a little bit more lower abdominals. Sometimes it's a little bit more lower back. So check the core class playlist. You should see other classes there. Last breath here. Unwrap that right leg. Shake it out. Release any tension. Roll those feet and those toes around. Nice, happy, healthy feet. Roll that hip around. Supple hips. Get them moving. And then bring that knee across your body. Let's finish left side. Almost done. Open that left arm out. Head goes wherever it feels comfortable. Again, your knee angle may look different than mine based on where you need to feel that stretch or just how tight you are, right? So just kind of find that position that feels good on you. Hold it here. Then we'll get into our figure 4 stretch and then we are done. Class. Come back to center, figure 4. Got one more stretch after our figure 4. We're almost done. Reach through for thread the needle. Nice deep hip opener, one of my faves. Got a lot of favorite stretches in this class. Relax the shoulders, release any tension, let it go. Subscribe to my channel. You'll get notifications of classes. There's tons more coming. I love this class. Feels good for me. So that's a big reason why I do it. It's selfish, completely selfish. All right, when you're ready, unwrap that left leg, windshield wiper the knees side to side. I also send it to some of my patients and I say, hey, you have to do my class. You need this. Who doesn't need core strength, right? It's a win-win. Low risk, high reward. Maybe get some more defined abs in the process. Roll to your side, come up into seated. Let's finish with our seated stretch. You can sit however you want to. You don't need to sit cross-legged. Let's finish with a nice tall spine series. Just inhale, reach up to the sky. Get some length. Exhale it out one more time, and then we are done with class for today. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope to see you next time. Stay tuned. We've got a lot more classes coming live. Inhale. Exhale. That is it for today. Thank you so much for coming. Maybe my dog will join one of these days. Right now, he's just sleeping in the corner. Not excited. All right. See you guys.